I sit in the Monday morning video conference, my stomach twisting into knots as Garrett's hand hovers over his mouse. He just muted me. Mid-sentence. While I'm explaining critical security protocols to the executive team, he smirks at the camera and says, "My dad says you're basically my assistant now, so maybe let the actual project leads handle strategy talk." My hand trembles over the mouse. 7 years. I've spent 7 years building this department from nothing. I glance at my webcam, then slowly angle it toward the server room door behind me. The meeting continues. Nobody notices. Yet, the video meeting drags on for another 40 minutes. I stay silent now, watching Garrett present what he calls his innovative new database migration plan. Every word coming out of his mouth is mine. 3 months ago, I submitted this exact proposal to the executive team. Same structure, same timeline, same risk mitigation strategies. The only difference is the name on the presentation. Garrett Sullivan instead of Krista Morgan. Through my repositioned webcam, I can see the server room door's security panel in the background of my video feed. The small blue light blinks steadily. I'm the only person in this entire company with level 5 clearance to that room. My boss, Helen, personally authorized it 2 years ago after I discovered and patched a massive vulnerability that saved us from a ransomware attack. The hackers had already breached our perimeter defenses. I caught them 16 minutes before they encrypted everything. 16 minutes. The CEO shook my hand and called me a hero. Helen made sure I got the highest security clearance possible. Now I watch Garrett gesture enthusiastically at charts I created, using terminology I taught him last week when he first showed up. He's 26 years old, fresh from business school, and his father is the new vice president of operations. That's his only qualification. The meeting finally ends. I close the video window and stare at my screen. My hands are shaking. Before I can process what just happened, a Slack message pops up from Garrett. "Need you to train me on the back-end systems this week. Dad wants me running point on the database project. You'll be support staff. Clear your calendar." I take 3 deep breaths. My therapist taught me this technique. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. It barely helps, but I respond professionally, suggesting we meet Wednesday to discuss transition protocols. I use words like transition protocols because they sound official and give me time to think. I review the webcam footage from the meeting, downloading it to my personal encrypted cloud storage. I watch myself get muted. I watch Garrett smirk. Then I notice something I missed during the actual meeting. At minute 23, when I excuse myself for a bathroom break, the video shows Garrett's face close to his camera. He's looking at something off-screen. Then he disappears from his video frame entirely for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I switch to the building's hallway security camera feeds. I have access because part of my job involves coordinating physical security with digital security. There he is, Garrett, walking down the 3rd-floor corridor, trying my office door. It's locked. He jiggles the handle twice, then walks away. My office has an internal door that connects directly to the server room. It's a security feature from when we designed this space. The servers require constant monitoring, and having direct access means I can respond to alerts within seconds instead of minutes. That internal door is also keycard protected, but Garrett wouldn't know that. He'd just see an office door and assume it's his way in. I saved this footage too. That afternoon, a company-wide email arrives from Garrett. The subject line reads, "New Database Operations Leadership Structure." I open it with a sense of dread that proves justified. Garrett has announced himself as the new Database Operations Director. That title doesn't exist. It also overlaps completely with my actual role as Senior Database Security Administrator. He's essentially announced that he's my boss, without anyone actually promoting him or demoting me. My phone rings. Helen, the CTO. My actual boss. Her voice sounds strained. "I just saw the email," she says. "I didn't approve that. I didn't even know he was sending it." "What do I do?" I ask. "I'm already in damage control mode," Helen says. "But Krista, I need to be honest with you. I just got out of a meeting with the CEO. Garrett's father wants to streamline operations. They're talking about restructuring your department. I pushed back hard. I told them you're the best security administrator we've ever had. But the VP has the CEO's ear right now. They play golf together every weekend. They've been friends for 30 years. My stomach drops. Are they firing me? Not yet, but they're building towards something. I can feel it. Helen pauses. I need you to be very careful. Document everything. Every interaction with Garrett, every request, every decision. And Krista, don't give Garrett your access badge. I don't care what anyone says. Those systems are your responsibility, and you're the only one I trust with that level of clearance. We hang up. I sit in my office as the afternoon light fades, wondering how my career imploded in 6 hours. Then another email arrives. This one isn't company-wide. It's an email thread I was accidentally CC'd on. The kind of mistake that happens when someone hits reply all instead of reply. Garrett to his father. She's being resistant to collaboration, hoarding access to critical systems. Dad, I can't do my job if she won't cooperate. His father, the VP, responds, handle it. We need someone manageable in that role. The Baxter contract requires full system access for their technical due diligence team, and she's been blocking progress. Get me documentation of her obstruction by end of week. I read it 3 times. The Baxter contract. They're our biggest potential client, a $12 million pharmaceutical research partnership. I've been blocking nothing. Nobody ever asked me about technical access for their due diligence team. Nobody sent me any requests, any forms, any authorization, paperwork. This is a setup. I save the email. I back it up to 3 different secure locations. Then I sit in the growing darkness of my office and realize that someone is actively trying to destroy my career, and they're using my own expertise against me. Tuesday morning arrives too quickly. I barely slept. I keep rehearsing conversations in my head, trying to figure out how to defend myself against accusations I don't fully understand yet. I arrive at 7 in the morning, an hour before my normal start time. The parking lot is nearly empty, but when I reach the 3rd floor, there's already someone standing outside my office. Garrett, with a security guard. Morning, Krista, Garrett says. His tone is friendly, casual, just confirming some access protocols with building security, making sure everything's properly documented. The security guard, Thomas, looks uncomfortable. I've known Thomas for 4 years. He's a good guy, former military, takes his job seriously. Morning, Thomas, I say carefully. Is there a problem? No problem, ma'am, Thomas says, just following orders from upstairs. Routine security audit. I unlock my office door and step inside. Everything looks normal. But something feels wrong. Like when you come home and can't quite identify what's different, but you know someone's been there. I log into my systems. Everything functions normally. I check the server room access logs. My blood goes cold. Last night, 11:47 p.m. 4 failed access attempts at the server room door. Invalid badge credentials. The security camera footage shows someone in a dark jacket and baseball cap. The angle is poor, but the body type matches Garrett. He's trying to use some kind of cloned access badge. It's not working because the system requires biometric verification in addition to the card scan. But he doesn't know that. I document everything. I take screenshots, download video files, create a detailed incident report with timestamps. Then I encrypt the entire package and send it to Helen with a message. Attempted unauthorized access to server room. Please advise. Helen responds within minutes. Emergency exec meeting this morning. Stay calm. Document everything. At 10 a.m., my calendar shows a meeting that wasn't there yesterday. Executive strategy session. I'm not invited. My calendar was blocked by administrative override, which means someone with high-level system permissions specifically excluded me and locked my calendar so I couldn't see who did it or when. I watch through my office window as executives file into the large conference room. The CEO, the VP, Helen, department heads. The meeting runs for 90 minutes. Garrett emerges at 11:30. He walks directly to my office, all smiles. "Big news," he says, leaning against my doorframe like we're old friends. The Baxter team arrives Friday for their technical assessment. "This is huge for us. Dad convinced the CEO that we need to show transparency and cooperation. Really roll out the red carpet." "Okay," I say carefully. "What do you need from me?" "You're going to provide full system access to their lead auditor. Complete access. No restrictions. It's happening." Every alarm bell in my head goes off simultaneously. I'll need to review their credentials first, verify their cybersecurity certifications, have them sign NDAs, implement temporary access credentials with full activity monitoring, set up isolated test environments. Garrett waves his hand dismissively. "Already done. Their guy is starting Friday. You just need to give him your badge for the weekend. Simple." "My badge doesn't work that way. It's biometrically linked to my fingerprint and retinal scan. Someone else can't use it." "Then disable that feature." "I can't. And I wouldn't. That's a federal security requirement." I keep my voice level. "We maintain databases with patient information from clinical trials. Healthcare data protection regulations specifically mandate biometric security for anyone accessing that level of sensitive information. Disabling it would violate federal law." Garrett's friendly expression vanishes. "You're making this difficult." "I'm following the law." "The law, or your ego?" I don't respond. We stare at each other for a long moment. Then Garrett pushes off from the doorframe and walks away without another word. 2 hours later, I receive an email from Human Resources. Subject line, mandatory meeting request. "Dear Krista, you are required to attend a meeting Thursday morning at 9 a.m. regarding workplace cooperation concerns and professional conduct. Please confirm your attendance. This meeting is mandatory." The email is vague, but the threat is crystal clear. I call Helen immediately. "They're building a case to fire you for insubordination," Helen says. Her voice is tight with stress. "The VP told the CEO you're sabotaging the Baxter deal. He's saying you're refusing to cooperate with legitimate business requirements because you want to protect your own authority." "Krista, I'm trying to fight this, but I need evidence that you've been doing everything right. I need proof that they're the ones violating protocols, not you." "I have documentation," I say. "The attempted break-in last night, the cloned badge, the emails." "That might not be enough," Helen interrupts. "It looks like you're just covering your tracks. They're going to say you're paranoid, that you're creating false narratives to justify your refusal to cooperate. I need you to prove that Garrett is actively trying to breach security protocols. Not that you're following the rules, that he's breaking them." After we hang up, I sit in my office and realize the trap has already closed around me. My documentation proves I'm competent. It doesn't prove they're criminals. And in corporate politics, competence without proof of wrongdoing on the other side just makes you look difficult. I need to catch them in the act. Wednesday morning. I arrive early again and set up continuous recording on my webcam. I angle it carefully toward the server room door, making sure the security panel is visible in the frame. The feed uploads directly to a secure cloud backup that only I can access. Separate from company systems. Completely independent. I also enable advanced logging on all system access attempts, including failed attempts. Every keystroke, every badge swipe, every login. The logs are verbose and detailed, storing information that normally gets purged after 24 hours. I change the retention settings to 30 days. If someone tries to access those systems, I'll have proof. Garrett arrives at 9 with 2 cups of coffee. He hands one to me. "Peace offering," he says. "I think we got off on the wrong foot. My dad's putting a lot of pressure on me to prove myself. I'm the boss's son, you know. Everyone assumes I don't deserve to be here. I overcompensate sometimes." He looks genuinely vulnerable, almost boyish. The angry edge from yesterday is gone. "I get it," I say, accepting the coffee. Maybe I've been too defensive. Maybe this really is just about a young guy trying to prove himself. Can we start over? Garrett asks. I'd really like to learn from you. You've built something impressive here, and I don't want to mess it up. I want to help. Against my better judgment, I agree. We spend the next 3 hours going through the basic database architecture. Nothing classified, nothing sensitive. Just the public-facing structure, the general security principles, the workflow processes. Garrett asks intelligent questions. He takes detailed notes. He thanks me for my patience. When noon arrives, he apologizes again for the assistant comment from Monday's meeting. I was nervous and trying to sound confident, he says. It came out wrong. I'm sorry. Really. I almost believe him. That afternoon, Helen stops by my office. She looks relieved. The HR meeting is still on for tomorrow, she says. But there might be good news. I showed the CEO your track record. All the security incidents you've prevented over the years. The ransomware attack, the phishing schemes, the data breach attempts. He's reconsidering the restructuring idea. Just get through tomorrow's meeting professionally, and this might blow over. For the first time in days, I feel a small measure of relief. Maybe Garrett's apology was genuine. Maybe his father is just a typical executive trying to push his son forward. Maybe I've been paranoid. I leave work at 5:30, feeling cautiously optimistic. At 8:43 p.m., I'm at home making dinner when my phone explodes with alerts. Security breach notifications, access attempts, system warnings. I drop the knife I'm holding and grab my phone with shaking hands. Someone is trying to access the server room. Multiple attempts. Getting closer to cracking the security protocol with each try. I pull up the webcam feed. The image makes my heart stop. Garrett. And he's not alone. There's another man with him, mid-50s, wearing dark clothes and carrying a laptop bag and what looks like portable hard drives. They're standing at the server room door. Garrett is holding some kind of electronic device against the security panel. Override equipment. Sophisticated stuff. The door opens. They step inside. I'm recording everything, every second. The timestamp shows 8:43 and 17 seconds. I watch them disappear into the server room. My phone is in my hand. I should call someone. Building security. The police. Helen. But my hands are frozen, watching the screen. 8:47 p.m. Garrett steps back into the frame. He looks directly at my webcam, points at it, says something to the other man. The other man nods and walks out of frame toward the camera. 8:47 and 34 seconds. The feed goes black. They disconnected the camera. I have 17 minutes and 17 seconds of footage. It shows them entering. It shows them noticing the camera. It shows them shutting it down. It doesn't show what they did inside. It doesn't show what data they accessed. It doesn't show what they copied or stole or modified. I call Helen. Voicemail. I call again. Voicemail. 3 more times. Nothing. I call building security. The night guard, someone I don't know, answers. This is Krista Morgan, Senior Database Security Administrator. There's an unauthorized access event happening right now in the server room. You need to send someone immediately. Ma'am, I was told by the Vice President that authorized technical staff would be in the building tonight. They have permission to access the server areas. Who told you that? The Vice President of Operations himself, ma'am. Called me personally at 8:15 to let me know. My vision blurs. They planned this. They called ahead. They made it legitimate. What time did they enter? I ask. I logged them in at 8:35 p.m., ma'am. I hang up and sit on my kitchen floor. My cat walks over and rubs against my leg. I pick her up and hold her, trying to think. I have partial video evidence. They entered the server room. They saw my camera and disconnected it. That proves they knew they were being recorded and didn't want to be. But they had permission from a VP to be in the building. They were authorized technical staff. And I was secretly recording workplace facilities without anyone's knowledge or consent, which itself might be illegal. I'm trapped. Whatever they just did in that server room for however long they stayed, I have no proof. And tomorrow morning, I have to sit in an HR meeting about my cooperation problems. I drive to the office, 40 minutes, pushing every speed limit. My hands grip the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turn white. When I arrive at 9:38 p.m., my badge doesn't work at the main entrance. The light flashes red. Access denied. I pull out my phone and call the night security guard again. My badge isn't working. I need to check on the server room. I'm sorry, ma'am. Your building access has been restricted to business hours only until further notice. There was an incident earlier, and security protocols have been updated. What incident? I can't discuss the details, ma'am. I want to scream. Instead, I walk back to my car and wait in the parking lot. I watch the side entrance of the building. At 10:15, Garrett and the unknown man exit through that door. They're each carrying external hard drives, large ones, the kind that can hold multiple terabytes of data. I take photos on my phone. It's dark, and my phone camera struggles with the low light. The images are grainy, barely usable. But I take them anyway. Maybe a forensics expert could enhance them. The two men get into a black SUV and drive away. I sit in my car until midnight, then drive home. I don't sleep. Thursday morning. I arrive at 7 a.m. My badge works again. Someone restored my access, probably because they need me to attend the HR meeting. I rush to my office. The server room door is closed. I use my badge to open it. Everything looks normal at first glance. Racks of servers humming quietly, LED lights blinking in steady patterns. Temperature controls maintaining exactly 68 degrees Fahrenheit. But there's a faint smell. Burnt electronics. Ozone. The smell of overheated circuits. My stomach turns. I log into the diagnostic systems. Several backup servers show abnormal heat signatures from last night. Between 8:45 and 10 p.m., someone ran massive data transfers. The logs show terabytes of information moving from our primary clinical trial databases to external destinations. The destination IP addresses are masked, routed through proxy servers, untraceable without a federal warrant. I start documenting everything. Screenshots, log exports, diagnostic reports. My hands move automatically, while my mind races through implications. This is corporate espionage. Industrial espionage. Theft of proprietary pharmaceutical research data worth millions of dollars. Krista. I spin around. Garrett stands in my office doorway. Behind him are two people from Human Resources and a woman I recognize as Patricia Chen, the company's senior legal counsel. Wait. Chen. That's one of the forbidden names. Let me change it. Garrett stands in my office doorway. Behind him are two people from Human Resources and a woman I recognize as Patricia Whitmore, the company's senior legal counsel. Krista, we need you to come with us, Patricia says. Her voice is flat, professional, cold. They lead me to a conference room. Large table. Lots of chairs. Just me on one side. 4 of them on the other. Patricia opens a folder and slides several documents across the table toward me. We have evidence that you accessed confidential clinical trial databases without authorization last night between 8:30 and 10:15 p.m. You initiated massive, unauthorized data transfers to an external server. This constitutes theft of proprietary information, violation of federal healthcare data protection laws, and corporate espionage. We are required by law to report this incident to both the FDA and the FBI. I can't breathe. The room tilts. This can't be happening. That's not true, I managed to say. I wasn't here last night. I was at home. Patricia slides another document toward me. Your badge was used to access the server room at 8:37 p.m. Your login credentials were used to initiate the transfers. Your personal external hard drive was found connected to the server array this morning. That's impossible. My external hard drive is in my desk drawer. It's locked. We recovered it from the server room an hour ago. It contains copies of proprietary clinical trial data. Garrett sits across from me, his expression carefully neutral. sorrowful even. Like he's disappointed in someone he tried to help. I didn't want to believe it, Garrett says quietly. But the logs don't lie, Krista. Patricia continues. We also have testimony from building security that you attempted to enter the facility last night at approximately 9:40 p.m. during the time frame when the data theft was occurring. When you were denied access, you remained in the parking lot for over an hour, presumably monitoring the situation. Everything clicks into horrifying place. They used the window when my badge was disabled to clone my credentials. They logged in using my username and password. They planted my external hard drive in the server room. They timed everything perfectly so that when I showed up out of panic, it would look like I was trying to access the building during my own crime. And I have no proof of any of it. My webcam footage ends at 8:47. It shows them entering the server room, but it also shows that I was conducting unauthorized surveillance of company property. The company is placing you on immediate administrative leave pending a full investigation, Patricia says. You are not to return to this building. You are not to access any company systems remotely. You are not to contact any employees regarding this matter. Security will escort you to collect your personal belongings, and then you will leave the premises. One of the HR representatives, a younger woman named Angela, speaks for the first time. Krista, do you understand the severity of these charges? This is a federal crime. You could face prison time. I find my voice. I want to speak with Helen, my direct supervisor. Helen is aware of the situation, Patricia says. She's been briefed. I want to speak with her directly. That's not possible at this time. Garrett stands up. I'll help escort her to collect her things. I know where everything is. The casual cruelty of that statement breaks something inside me. He's going to watch me pack up my life's work. He's going to stand there and supervise while I'm paraded through the office in disgrace. A security guard I don't recognize walks me to my office. Garrett and one of the HR people follow. Garrett is already inside my office when I arrive, going through my desk with another IT person I've never seen before. Just securing potential evidence, Garrett says without looking at me. My external hard drive sits in a clear plastic evidence bag on my desk, tagged and labeled. My laptop is gone. My access cards are gone. The photos of my nephew on my desk are still there. My coffee mug with World's Best Database admin on it. The small succulent plant I've kept alive for 3 years. I'm allowed to take personal items only. No documents, no electronics, no files. The security guard gives me a cardboard box. I put the photos in it. The mug, the plant, a sweater from my desk drawer. It takes 4 minutes to pack up 7 years of my career. As they escort me out, I see other employees watching. Some quickly look away. Others stare openly. Whispers follow me down the hallway. By tomorrow, everyone will know. Krista Morgan, the trusted security administrator, caught stealing company secrets. The walk to my car feels like miles. I put the box in my trunk and sit in the driver's seat. I can't turn the key. My hands are shaking too badly. I sit there for 20 minutes, crying. Then I force myself to drive home. At home, I open my secure cloud backup. The 17 minutes of webcam footage is still there. I download it to my personal laptop. I watch it again and again. Garrett and the unknown man entering at 8:43, looking directly at the camera at 8:46, the feed going dark at 8:47. I have proof they entered. I don't have proof of what they did. And they'll argue I was conducting illegal surveillance. Friday morning, a certified letter arrives. Formal notice that I'm under investigation for data theft, federal privacy violations, and corporate espionage. The company has filed a report with the FBI. I'm instructed to retain legal counsel immediately. I look up criminal defense attorneys in Philadelphia. The consultation fees alone will drain my savings account. A full defense could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I have maybe enough for a consultation and a few hours of legal work. My phone rings. Finally, Helen. But when I answer, her voice is cold, distant. Nothing like the supportive boss I've known for 7 years. Krista, I've been advised by our legal team not to communicate with you during the investigation. I'm calling to tell you that officially. I can't be associated with this situation. She pauses. I thought I knew you. I'm disappointed. Very disappointed. Helen, I didn't do this. They framed me. I have evidence. Please don't contact me again. The line goes dead. I sit on my couch, with my cat in my lap, and realize I have nothing. No job, no reputation, no allies, no way to prove my innocence. Just 17 minutes of video that might incriminate me as much as it helps me. I spend the weekend researching federal sentencing guidelines for corporate espionage and theft of proprietary pharmaceutical data. 10 to 20 years in federal prison. Fines up to $500,000 or twice the value of the stolen information, whichever is greater. My life is over. Monday morning, another email from Patricia. The FBI has scheduled your interview for Wednesday at 10 a.m. You are required to appear. Given the severity of the allegations, we strongly recommend you secure legal representation immediately. Tuesday afternoon, my doorbell rings. I'm not expecting anyone. Part of me wonders if it's the FBI. Early. I open the door to find a woman in her 60s. Well-dressed, professional, carrying a leather briefcase. Silver hair cut in a sharp bob, intelligent eyes behind rectangular glasses. Krista Morgan? She asks. Yes? My name is Janet Howell. I'm an attorney specializing in corporate whistleblower cases, employment law, and white-collar criminal defense. I received an anonymous package at my office yesterday morning. Delivered by courier. It contains security logs, video footage, financial records, and a detailed timeline of events at your company over the past 2 weeks. Someone wants me to represent you. She opens her briefcase and pulls out a thick folder. After reviewing the evidence, I don't think you're the criminal here, Krista. I think you're the witness. And I think someone at your company has been selling confidential clinical trial data to competitors for the past 6 months. They're trying to frame you to cover their tracks. She spreads documents across my kitchen table. Server logs I've never seen before. High-level executive communication records. Encrypted email transcripts. Financial transaction records showing wire transfers to offshore accounts. Tell me everything about Garrett Sullivan and his father, Janet says. Because according to these logs, they've been running a corporate espionage operation right under everyone's noses. And you're the only person who could have stopped them. Janet Howell transforms my kitchen into a command center. Documents cover every surface. Her laptop is open, displaying spreadsheets and network diagrams. My cat watches suspiciously from the doorway. Whoever sent me this package has serious system access, Janet says, tapping a printed email thread. These are executive-level communications, financial records from the VP's office. Encrypted correspondence that should be impossible to intercept without high-level administrative privileges. Do you know who sent it? I ask. No. The courier service said a man paid cash for rush delivery. Didn't leave a name. But someone inside your company wants you protected. Do you have any allies there? Anyone who might have access to these kinds of records? I think carefully. Helen abandoned me. Most of my department reports directly to me, and they're all junior staff without this kind of access. But then something clicks. Marcus, I say. Marcus Brennan. He's the night security specialist. Works midnight to 8 a.m. About 2 months ago, he came to me with concerns about suspicious backup routines he'd noticed. Automated data transfers happening during his shift, routed through unusual pathways. I told him to document everything but be careful about reporting it through normal channels until we had solid evidence. Janet makes a note. Marcus might be your guardian angel. But let's focus on what we have here. She spreads out a timeline. For the past 6 months, someone with access to the company's clinical trial databases has been systematically copying proprietary research data. The information is being transferred to Biodyne Corporation, a major competitor in the pharmaceutical industry. Biodyne is developing a parallel drug to our company's flagship research project. With access to our clinical trial results, they can skip years of testing and billions of dollars in research costs. The financial records show regular wire transfers from a Biodyne subsidiary account to an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. Small amounts initially. 50,000 here, 75,000 there, building up to 200,000 per transfer in recent months. Total value transferred over $2 million. The timing matches the VP's arrival at your company, Janet says. He was hired 8 months ago. The transfers started 6 months ago. That gave him 2 months to establish access and identify the most valuable data. But why frame me? I ask. Why not just keep operating quietly? Because you were getting close to catching them. You're too good at your job. The ransomware incident, the security protocols you implemented, your insistence on proper authorization and documentation, you were making it harder for them to operate. And then the Baxter situation gave them an opportunity. What Baxter situation? Janet pulls out another document. There is no Baxter technical due diligence team. Baxter Pharmaceuticals has no contract pending with your company. The whole thing was fabricated. The man with Garrett on Wednesday night? His name is David Torres. He's a data acquisition specialist who works for Biodyne. Not legally. He's basically a corporate spy. The VP invented the Baxter story to create a reason why you'd need to grant access to an outsider. When you refused, they used it to paint you as obstructionist. Then they framed you for the very crime they were committing. The elegance of it is sickening. They needed me out of the way. They needed my access credentials. And they needed a scapegoat. 1 plan, 3 goals. Your webcam footage is important, Janet says. It proves Garrett and Torres entered the server room Wednesday night. But we need more. We need proof of what they did inside, and proof that this connects to the larger operation. I remember something. The biometric logs. Every time my badge is used, it creates a timestamp with biometric verification data. Not just the badge number, but the actual fingerprint scan and retinal pattern. They cloned my badge credentials, but they can't clone my biometric signature. If they used my badge to access the systems, the logs will show that the biometrics don't match. Janet's eyes light up. Can you access those logs remotely? No. I'm locked out of all company systems. But the logs are stored locally on a backup authentication server in the server room. It keeps 30 days of data before syncing to the cloud. If we could access that physical server, we could pull the logs directly. How would we do that? I'd need to physically enter the server room and connect directly to the backup authentication server. Maybe 10 minutes of work. Janet considers this. You're on administrative leave. Technically, entering the building could be considered trespassing, but let me look at your leave paperwork. She reviews the documents I was given Thursday. This is interesting. Your leave paperwork restricts your system access and prohibits you from contacting employees about the investigation. But it doesn't specifically restrict your physical building access. That might have been an oversight on their part. Your badge still works for the physical door locks, because that's managed by a separate system. Are you saying I should break in? I'm saying you should access your authorized workspace to retrieve evidence of your innocence. That's legally gray. But I think we can argue it falls within your rights as an employee on administrative leave who hasn't been formally terminated. If anyone challenges it, we explain you were gathering exculpatory evidence, and I'll be with you as your legal counsel. You'd come with me? Absolutely. If we're doing this, we're doing it right. We planned for Tuesday night, late enough that most people are gone, but not so late that it looks like we're hiding. Marcus works the midnight shift. If he's our ally, having him there might help. But there's a risk. If we're caught, it could make everything worse, breaking and entering charges on top of everything else. The FBI interview is Wednesday morning, Janet reminds me. If we're going to get this evidence, it has to be tonight. Once you're interviewed, they'll likely seize your badge and restrict your access permanently. I agree. Tonight is our only chance. At 9 p.m., Janet picks me up. We drive to the office in her car, a practical sedan that doesn't attract attention. The parking lot is mostly empty, just a few cars belonging to the night staff. Marcus's old Honda is there. That's good. My badge works at the main entrance. The lock clicks open. We step inside. The building at night feels different. Fluorescent lights are dimmed. Our footsteps echo in the empty hallways. Every sound seems amplified. We walk toward my office on the 3rd floor. As we turn the corner into my corridor, I hear voices. Low. Male. Coming from my office. Janet grabs my arm, pulling me back around the corner. We press against the wall, listening. You said the data transfer was complete. That's Garrett's father. The VP. His voice is angry. Now the FBI is asking questions we didn't anticipate. That federal agent isn't an idiot. If they start comparing biometric logs to badge access records. Relax, Dad. That's Garrett. Calmer, confident. The logs wipe to cloud backup every 48 hours, and I have admin access to delete the cloud backup. I'm doing it right now from her terminal. By tomorrow morning, there's no record that the biometrics didn't match. No evidence at all. My blood goes cold. They're erasing the evidence. Right now. In real time. I look at Janet. She looks at me. The server room is 10 feet away from my office. If we move fast, maybe I can pull the local backup before they realize the cloud deletion won't erase it. But they'll hear us. They'll see us. And we have maybe 60 seconds before those logs are permanently deleted from the cloud, and they might not realize the local backup exists. I make a decision. I step into the hallway, walking directly toward my office door. Garrett? Why are you at my computer? The scene freezes like a photograph. Garrett's father stands beside my desk, his face illuminated by my monitor. Garrett sits in my chair, his fingers still on the keyboard. Both men stare at me. The VP recovers first. His face transforms from shock to anger. What are you doing here? You're on administrative leave. This is trespassing. Janet steps into view beside me, holding up her phone. The screen shows a recording in progress. Actually, she's accessing her authorized workspace with her attorney present. And you just confessed to deleting authentication logs to obstruct a federal investigation. That's a felony. Garrett lunges out of my chair toward Janet's phone. I shout, Marcus, praying he's monitoring the security cameras, praying he's our ally, praying this works. 30 seconds pass. They feel like hours. Then Marcus appears from the direction of the security office with Thomas, the security guard from the other morning. Both men look serious. I called the police when I saw these two enter your office on the security cameras, Marcus says, looking at Garrett and his father. After what they did to you, Krista. I've been watching everything. The VP tries to regain control. I'm the vice president of this company. You can't. Marcus cuts him off. I'm the person who sent all the evidence to Miss Howell. 6 months of logs showing your data sales to Biodyne, communication records, financial transfers. And I've been recording every security camera feed to an external backup drive since I started getting suspicious 2 months ago, including tonight. Garrett moves toward the hallway. Thomas steps in front of the exit. Police are 3 minutes out, sir. I'd suggest you stay put. Janet keeps her phone recording. For the record, I'm Janet Howell, attorney representing Krista Morgan. I just witnessed Garrett Sullivan admit to deleting authentication logs from company servers to hide evidence of unauthorized access. His father, the vice president, was present and participating. The VP's face goes red. This is entrapment. You set us up. No, I say quietly. You set me up. We're just documenting the truth. Police sirens echo from outside. 2 officers arrive within 4 minutes. Marcus and Janet explain the situation. Marcus provides his backup drive with security footage. Janet plays her phone recording. The officers ask Garrett and his father to step outside. They comply, but the VP is making threats about lawyers and lawsuits with every step. One officer stays with us to take statements. I explain everything. The attempted access on Tuesday night. The meeting where Garrett demanded my badge. The Wednesday night break-in. The fabricated Baxter story. Being framed for data theft. All of it. Janet provides the anonymous package she received. Marcus provides 6 months of suspicious activity logs. The officer's expression grows more serious with each piece of evidence. We'll need to bring in the FBI, the officer says. This is beyond local jurisdiction, but based on what I'm seeing, you're not the suspect here, ma'am. You're the victim. FBI agents arrive by 11 p.m., 2 of them. They spend an hour reviewing evidence, interviewing all of us separately, examining the server room logs. The lead agent, a woman in her 40s named Special Agent Diaz, tells me that I'm no longer under investigation. Instead, I'm now a witness in a federal case involving corporate espionage, data theft, obstruction of justice, and wire fraud. Your Wednesday webcam footage is actually very helpful, Agent Diaz says. Combined with the security footage, Mr. Brennan preserved and the authentication logs, we can prove that Garrett Sullivan and David Torres accessed your systems using cloned credentials. The biometric mismatches are documented. Your 17-minute video establishes their presence at the scene. What about the charges against me? I ask. Dropped. The company will be notified tomorrow that you've been cleared. In fact, we'll be requiring the company's full cooperation in our investigation of the Sullivan family and Biodyne Corporation. I almost can't believe it. So I'm not going to prison? No, ma'am. You're going home, and I suspect you'll be getting your job back very soon. Wednesday morning, I receive a call from the CEO's executive assistant. The CEO requests my presence at an emergency board meeting at 2 p.m. Janet insists on accompanying me. When we arrive, the boardroom is full. The entire executive team, board members, legal counsel. Helen sits near the end of the table, looking small and miserable. The CEO stands when I enter. He's a tall man in his 60s, normally confident and commanding. Today he looks exhausted. Miss Morgan, on behalf of this company, I owe you an apology, a profound apology. We failed you in every possible way. He gestures to an empty chair at the table. Please, sit. I sit. Janet sits beside me. The CEO continues. The VP and his son have been terminated and banned from these premises. They're currently in federal custody. We're cooperating fully with the FBI's investigation into their activities. Early estimates suggest they stole approximately $14 million worth of proprietary research data over 6 months. He pauses, looking directly at me. You tried to protect this company. You followed every protocol. You maintained security standards while being undermined and framed. And we believed lies about you, instead of trusting your record. One of the board members, an older woman named Dr. Sarah Westfield, speaks up. Miss Morgan, the board has voted unanimously to offer you a promotion. We're creating a new C-suite position, Chief Information Security Officer. You'd report directly to the board. Full authority over all IT security operations, physical and digital. Significant salary increase, and a formal written apology for your personnel file documenting exactly what happened and clearing your name completely. I look at Janet. She nods slightly. I want Marcus Brennan promoted to Senior Security Analyst, I say. Substantial raise. He's the one who documented everything. He's the one who sent you the evidence. He risked his job to do the right thing. The CEO doesn't hesitate. Done. Anything else? Full authority means nobody overrides my security decisions. No executive exceptions. No special access for anyone without proper protocols. Complete independence. Agreed. I take a breath. Then I accept. Helen approaches me after the meeting. She looks like she hasn't slept in days. Krista, I'm so sorry. I was scared for my own job. When they started building a case against you, I should have fought harder. I should have believed you. That's not an excuse, but it's the truth. I failed you as a supervisor and as a friend. I don't forgive her immediately. Trust isn't rebuilt in one conversation, but I acknowledge her apology and tell her we can work on rebuilding a professional relationship. Over the next 2 months, the FBI's investigation expands. They discover that the VP had been running similar schemes at 2 previous companies. Garrett was his accomplice, recruited right out of business school. Biodyne Corporation faces massive penalties for receiving stolen data. Several of their executives are indicted. David Torres, the data acquisition specialist, agrees to testify against everyone in exchange for a reduced sentence. The VP and Garrett are indicted on 17 federal charges each, including wire fraud, corporate espionage, obstruction of justice, theft of trade secrets, and conspiracy. The trial is scheduled for next year, but their lawyers are already discussing plea bargains. I testify before a grand jury in November. My webcam footage becomes Exhibit A in the federal case. The 17 minutes of video, combined with Marcus's security backups and the biometric authentication logs, create an airtight timeline of the crime. The company recovers the Baxter contract legitimately this time. Real due diligence, proper protocols, everything documented and authorized. The contract is actually worth $14 million. The irony isn't lost on anyone. My new office is on the executive floor with a window view of the Philadelphia suburbs. I have a team of 12 security specialists now. Marcus is my second in command. We've implemented new protocols that make what the VP did virtually impossible, but I still keep my webcam angled toward the door, just in case. 6 months after that terrible Monday morning when Garrett muted me in the meeting, I sit in my new office reviewing security reports. Marcus knocks on my door. "Got a minute?" he asks. "Always." "What's up?" He sits across from my desk. "I wanted to thank you again for making sure I got credit. A lot of people would have taken the win and moved on." "You saved my life, Marcus. You documented everything when nobody else would. You risked your job to send that evidence to Janet. I owed you more than a promotion." "Still," he says, "it meant something." We talk about the upcoming security audit, some new protocols we're implementing, the usual work stuff. But before he leaves, he pauses at the door. "I almost didn't send that package to the lawyer," he admits. "I was scared. Scared they'd figure out it was me. Scared I'd lose my job. Scared of going up against the VP. But I kept thinking about what you told me 2 months before everything happened. You said to document everything and wait for the right moment. You trusted me to know when that moment came. You made the right call," I say. After he leaves, I think about everything that happened, the betrayal, the fear, the moment I thought my life was over, the feeling of sitting on my kitchen floor, believing I'd spend the next 20 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. But I also think about the small decisions that made the difference. Angling my webcam toward the server room door, documenting every interaction, trusting my instincts when Garrett's apology felt wrong, keeping detailed logs even when it seemed paranoid. And I think about Marcus, a night shift worker most executives never noticed, who had the courage to risk everything to do what was right. Last week, I was invited to speak at a cybersecurity conference. They wanted me to talk about corporate security best practices. Instead, I talked about something else. I told them that security isn't just about firewalls and encryption. It's about culture. It's about creating environments where people like Marcus feel safe reporting suspicious activity, where junior employees aren't afraid to question senior executives, where doing the right thing is valued more than protecting powerful people. I told them about the webcam, about that split-second decision to angle it toward the door, about trusting my gut when everything in the corporate hierarchy told me to comply and cooperate. Sometimes security is about the small moves, I said, the ones that seem insignificant in the moment, the documentation you keep, even when it feels unnecessary, the questions you ask, even when they're uncomfortable, the evidence you preserve, even when you're not sure it matters, because you never know which small move will be the one that makes all the difference. The audience applauded. Afterward, several people approached me with their own stories. Data analysts who caught fraud, It's specialists who prevented breaches, accountants who reported embezzlement. All of them described that same moment of fear, that decision point where doing the right thing meant risking everything. I gave them the same advice Janet Howell gave me. Document everything. Trust your instincts. And when you find yourself in over your head, find someone who can help you expose the truth. Today, I'm training a new security analyst. Her name is Amy Chen. Wait, that's a forbidden name. Let me change it. Today, I'm training a new security analyst. Her name is Amy Foster. She's 24, fresh out of college, nervous and eager. She reminds me of myself 7 years ago. The most important thing, I tell her, is to never let anyone make you feel small for doing your job right. You're not being difficult when you follow protocols. You're not being paranoid when you question unauthorized access. You're doing exactly what you were hired to do. She nods, taking notes. And one more thing, I add. Always trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Document it, report it. Don't let anyone convince you that you're overreacting. My phone buzzes. A news alert. The VP and Garrett have accepted plea bargains. 8 years federal prison for the VP, 5 years for Garrett. They'll also pay full restitution to the company, and Biodyne will pay substantial penalties. Justice. Not perfect, but real. I forward the article to Janet. She responds with a simple thumbs-up emoji and a message. We did good. Yes, we did. I look at the webcam on my desk. It's an official one now, part of my enhanced security protocols. But I still remember that old one. The one I angled toward the server room door. The one that caught 17 minutes of footage that changed everything. One small move. One moment of clarity. That's all it took. People ask me sometimes if I'm angry about what happened. If I resent the time I lost, the fear I experienced, the reputation damage. The truth is more complicated. I'm angry at the injustice. I'm grateful for the allies who helped me. I'm proud that I fought back instead of giving up. And I'm determined to use my experience to help others facing similar situations. Power and privilege don't make someone untouchable. Documentation and evidence speak louder than corporate politics. And sometimes the smallest act, turning a webcam or keeping detailed logs or trusting your instincts, can be the difference between justice and injustice. I also learned that allies can come from unexpected places. Marcus, working the night shift, noticing patterns nobody else saw. Janet, taking on a case based on an anonymous package because she believed in justice. Even Thomas, the security guard, who made sure the police were called when it mattered. The story ends where it began, with me sitting in front of a camera. But this time, I'm in control. This time, I'm the one with authority. This time, I'm the one protecting others instead of being victimized. And I'll never forget what that 17-minute video taught me. Sometimes the smallest move is the most powerful one you can make. Before I finish today's work, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where doing the right thing meant risking everything? Where standing up for yourself or others put your job or reputation on the line? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Share it with anyone who might need the reminder that truth and justice can prevail, even against powerful people. Your support helps me continue sharing these stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things when faced with injustice. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you're never as powerless as you might feel in your darkest moments. Document everything. Trust your instincts. Find your allies. And never underestimate the power of one small, brave move. Stay strong out there. And remember, the truth always has a way of coming to light when you're patient enough and brave enough to preserve it.